Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Hot Takes, where we bring you provocative topics that we should be talking about, but we're not. We've got Mary Monastersky here today, senior consultant at Thoughttium and one of our L&D experts. Welcome, Mary.
Hey.
How are you doing? I hear you got some hot takes for us.
Oh my gosh. I love opinions, love sharing my opinions. This is the forum for me. I'm ready to give some hot takes.
Yeah. That's what I hear. Awesome. Well, I know you got two for us, so let's kick off with the first one. Let's get right into it. What you got?
Okay. All right. My first hot take for all the folks watching out there, if I had to summarize, is make empty space in your house, in your home, but keep it empty. And I think we've all at this point heard how good decluttering is. We've all decluttered our closets or some part of our house. We've Marie Kondoed everything. But then, inevitably things fill back up. So my hot take is get comfortable with having the space empty. It's, there's like good research coming out nowadays that like clutter is related to how anxious we are, how it clutters our mind. It like really makes us stressed. So why not keep a little corner of your bookshelf empty or that space in your closet empty and see if it has the opposite effect. It definitely does on me of like, it frees you to just be so much more calm and happy. So that's my hot take. Keep the space empty. Start your journey on minimalism.
Less stuff. I love it. So do you have not that much stuff at your place? Is that what you're saying?
Oh my God. Yeah, I have friends and family come over and they are like, it looks pretty sparse in here. I could probably fit all my clothes into like one large suitcase, excluding shoes. So yeah, but it definitely is like baby steps. Like you want to like fill the wall with paintings or like have everything on the bookshelf or like keep buying accessories, keep buying things. And like, it definitely took me a while to just get used to it. So what about you, Jonathan? How decluttered is your life?
Yeah, I love that. Well, I would say it's gotten better over time. The one space I'll talk about is my digital space. That's the one I do to keep less cluttered. And I've gotten over the years when I don't see a gajillion things on my desktop or my email inbox. I agree with you. It does help me have a feeling of calmness and not overwhelmed. So I can absolutely see how that also makes sense inside of the home. So I'm pretty similar. I will notice I get a little bit frustrated if I have stuff all over the place or anxious in a way, and then I have to do something with it. So yeah, I'm on board. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, but so that's my hot take. Make space empty and keep it that way. Get used to it.
Love it. Well, yes. That makes sense. And you got the research to back it up. So that's good to go.
Yeah.
Awesome. So as an L&D expert, Mary, I know that you have a lot of opinions on how to make journeys and leadership development processes and experiences powerful. So I'm actually very excited to see what your second hot take is. So let's hear it.
Yeah, sure. So second hot take here, more in like the developing people space, is when you're developing people, whether you're a people manager, whether you're helping a coworker out, whether you are in like the training space, content isn't enough. I think we're kind of in this space nowadays where there's so much on, so many platforms to learn. There's stuff on LinkedIn Learning, there's stuff on edX. Like you could take full college courses online, even like watching TikTok, Instagram, like the information's out there. But sometimes I think when we're developing other people, we get into a bit of a mindset of, well, if I just give them the information, then they'll go off and do it. But I bet you there's some folks out there who hear me say that and know like, oh, no, that doesn't always happen. They don't always end up following up. So that's why I want to say content isn't enough. You should be thinking content and I've been doing some like research lately on this idea of like mastery, how to get really good at something. And this is where a lot of these like suggestions of content and come from. Like it's content and having really intentional repetition of practice, like repeating the same thing over and over again, getting really good at it, applying the information, the stuff you learned, watching and observing other people do it. So like working with someone else, even giving feedback, seeking out, giving feedback after someone's learned something is a really powerful way. And only at the very, very bottom of that list in terms of building mastery is just learning a class, reading a book, right? It's everything that comes with the content. So that's what I'm going to leave with my slogan. Content isn't enough. It's content and.
Yeah, I love that. So you're saying, like, if I were just to paint that an example, if one of my leaders just gives me a book and then they have the expectation, they say, well, I gave Jonathan the book, so he should be able to be successful in whatever we're asking him to do. And you're arguing, well, that's only the very, very beginning of the process.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess going back to like digital space versus current space, like I have a huge amount of bookmarks in my Instagram of recipes I've saved. Like all these recipes of like, if you look through there, I probably would be like a gourmet chef by now if just having that content was enough, right? So like a leader giving someone a book, giving someone a, hey, here's a SOW or process list, like go follow that. Like it's like giving someone a recipe, but not actually giving them the kitchen. Or not actually helping them like do the recipe, right? Yep. It's like, how can we help people actually follow up on that? And I think that's where, unfortunately we miss out a little bit.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes me think of when I learned to drive a car. Like you can tell me all about it, but unless I get in the damn car and start to drive, I'm not going to learn.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm kind of scared. Hopefully you practice in a parking lot. You didn't like go.
That was like 20 years ago. So do not fret. So I know that you're involved with many of the solutions that we do at Thoughtsiem for clients. And obviously you have this in mind. So I'm curious if you can share a few tips and a few things for folks to be aware of what should they be considering in their learning and development journeys to make sure that they don't run into this issue or challenge of just giving content without the implementation.
Yeah, I think like this is great for like learning and development folks, like if you're building a training, if you're building programs, but I think as well for if like you're in a position to just develop someone, I would say there's like 3 key things to really think about. One is how can you develop structured, safe practice? So if you give someone information, give someone a framework, give someone a new mindset, like how can you give them, a realistic scenario to think about? How can you like dive into deeper discussions about how it shows up in your context? Like how can you give people the chance to really, in a clear way, like practice and evaluate what they're learning in a way where they're safe to get some input? I would say second is definitely lead into peer-to-peer learning. We do this a lot in our programming here at Thoughtsiem is we really try to bring people in the same training in the same cohort together during and if possible after, and like encourage them, find really directed ways for them to kind of share new insights, perspectives, share what they've tried out, how it's gone with each other. And that reinforcement with peers, going back to like watching and observing someone, is like a great way to really lean in and get that repetition, and as well as like learn new ways of doing things. And I would say just like being really clear about what application looks like, maybe even giving them like nudges or assignments that you follow up on, but not just saying here's what to do, but like, hey, go in the next 2 weeks and try out this and share it with someone, or we'll come back together and talk about it. Just having very clear ways to apply it to kind of encourage that repetition. And I'll add a 4th one on there. If you're like a people leader, definitely make space for feedback. Give them feedback on how they're doing, how they're applying it, and keep following up. It's not just a one-time, here's what you got situation. It's really an ongoing thing.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, otherwise, how are you going to know how you're doing on the receiving end, right? That's awesome. Cool, Mary. Well, I love this. And I'm just resonating where even myself, like, where am I just giving people content and not actually supporting them with the implementation? So it's got me reflecting on this hot take. Yeah. Awesome. Well, anything else you want to add to close out your hot take here, Mary?
Oh my God. I guess I'll repeat my slogans, my hot takes for a little fun. Make empty space in your home and keep it. And when you're developing people, content isn't enough. It's content and. Make that to some t-shirts.
Yes, I love it. Awesome, Mary. Well, thank you for sharing with us your hot takes. And for everyone listening, thank you for tuning in. And until next time.